So for those of you on Nautilus Live, we are currently zoomed in on one of the many small vents that make up the Seacliff hydrothermal vent site. We're operating at 2,700 meters below sea level at the Gorda Ridge Marine Trench, where the Pacific and Gorda plates meet each other. The the Nautilus, from where you can hear all of these voices talking to you from, with a couple of exceptions, is operating about 180 kilometers off the west coast of North America, just where Oregon meets California.
I can actually just get it back here this way.
In addition to you watching on Nautilus Dive, we also have scientists ashore at the Inner Space Center in Rhode Island. You'll hear their voices occasionally over the audio line.
Good, nice.
We have just been measuring the temperature of the fluid coming out of this small vent. We've created a new noun, chimlets, referring to small vent features. And now we're sitting up just to take a physical sample of this vent fluid. So Amy, I think over the course of this dive you should come up with a whole new series of nouns for describing vents of different sizes.
Say that again?
I was going to say over the course of this dive I think you should come up with a whole course of nouns to describe vents of different sizes. Chimlets is a particularly good one.
That was Greg's.
That's not a new word. It's been used for years.
I was going to say, it's a pretty common word. We saw lots of chimlets last year, remember, on the Nautilus at Louis?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Those were cute.
What do you think about a venti? Is that bigger or smaller than a chimlet?
A venti.
I think you just like the word venti.
I was thinking we could name one of our vents Venti Grande.
Yes, so we had a whole suite of
In
Starbucks
honor of Taco
coffees.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is that advertising?
Amy, you heard that they named this whole vent field Apollo, correct?
Apollo, yes.
That's correct.
We have heard.
That's awesome.
I don't want to regret this.
And if I get
So Megan, we're calling this vent Sir Vents a lot.
Yes, I've heard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
And we're on S1, right?
that was the other one. That
No, we are 9.
S9?
hold-
Oh, we're
yeah.
doing bags?
No, we have 8
Hold on.
bottles.
Okay, all
Oh.
right.
What's that, Julie?
So, Amy, we're going to be putting a marker down at the chimney when we go back to it. I think that should be the formally named vent because this is just right near it.
Okay.
So will the name be the marker letter or?
We can say that this is near Sir Ventilot. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
let's call this Venti McVent Face.
No,
No.
we've already been around and around about that one.
Okay, so
Okay.
Wayne, push in,
I'm
please.
going to call
Okay,
it
pushing
near
in.
Sir Ventilot. And
Yeah, we forgot to put the marker at that chimney before we moved away, but we're going to go right back to it when we're done
Hold
here.
on.
Okay.
Pull back.
Amy,
No, hold that.
just
Sorry.
to confirm,
hold
you
back.
said this is S9?
Yes.
Okay.
Eric's bottles are 1
Hold
through
it.
8,
Gotcha.
and then I'll be 9, 10, 11 for filters. And then I have 3 bags, but I will probably only fill 2. And those are
Okay.
12, 13, 14.
Gotcha. So we're going to do 3 filters now, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a look at bubble there too.
Yeah.
Video's swapping out,
Roger. Thanks,
dropping
Wayne.
out. All right, thanks guys.
Bye, Wayne.
Bye.
Oh, looks like the handle's rotating a bit. Holding that.
I'm getting 9 degrees, 12, 16, 13, 16, 9.
All right, I'm gonna change the angle on this guy a little
Okay.
bit. Hold on. Oops, sorry. Hey, video, can you push in there, please?
I'm getting 30, 18, 14, 17, 23, 27, 35, 25, 34, 26, 35. That looks pretty good. Steady at 35,
Roger.
35 to 38. I
I'm
don't know, 47.
I'm frozen here, Amy. If,
Okay, good.
We're stable so far.
Okay. Yeah. Up to 55. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving to port 9.
Josh, would you mind looking at the wheel for them?
Yeah.
And start.
Roger.
Start filter.
We'll back the camera up just a bit.
Got it. Got it.
Well, I think I'm going to move the ship a little bit.
Roger.
We're steady at 32.
Oh, 165, thinking.
I do 165.
165
there.
or 150.
22.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
150.
Because I can't really tell if that's a high feature there.
Yeah, it's a little chimney there.
Yeah.
Alex, can we move the ship 5 meters, 150?
Good, Amy.
Okay. 39. How often do you want temps?
Amy, I didn't hear what filter number this was.
It's 9.
I just want you to watch temperature. You don't have to tell me, but I would say if it, drops below 20-ish, we probably need to push in a little bit.
Okay. I think it's looking really good. Occasionally I'll get a couple of numbers, like it's 16 or something, but it's steady. It's pretty steady. Above 30, at least.
So for those of you on Nautilus Live, we are currently zoomed in on a tiny vent that forms a small part of a much larger system of hydrothermal vent fields on the seafloor. Just to give you a quick sense of what we mean when we talk about the names of these sites, the Seacliff hydrothermal vent field that we're referring to is a patch of the seafloor that forms the edge of a submarine trench that's, the whole site's maybe about 100 meters by 100 meters. As we've been exploring this site over the last few days, we've discovered individual small groupings of vents, and we often give those names just to help us really identify them for both ourselves and future researchers who may come here. And then where we happen to be in one of those vent subfields, this particular one we've named Apollo in honor of the 50th anniversary of the moon landings. In those individual fields where we find distinctive individual vents, we may also give them a name that helps us, essentially, if we ever return to this site or scientists return in the future, to actually perhaps have an idea of what individual places were studied, and then we can actually form a time-resolved record of some of these individual features. So that's why we actually go to the bother of coming up with these sometimes whimsically sounding names. It really helps us break down this quite varied and complicated site into local contexts. I just wanted to pass on one comment to you, Amy, if you've got a moment.
Sure.
So one of our viewers on Nautilus Live is particularly happy that you guys chose to honor the Apollo program. He's the son of the lead engineer on the guidance control system for the lunar module. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So I'm sure they appreciate the continuity of science exploration we're continuing.
Yes.
You know what's pretty amazing about that is when Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, we didn't even know deep-sea hydrothermal vents existed. That's how young this science is.
Yeah, that's right. They were discovered in 1977.
Yep.
I also want to give a quick shout out to Coventry High School in Rhode Island. I know that your oceanography class is watching right now, so I hope you're enjoying this.
Julie, the flow rate looks really good for this filter.
Yeah, I'm wondering if are you planning on doing 15 minutes or 20 minutes or?
We could do 15.
Okay. Just keep an eye on that temperature.
Okay. We're at 34 right now.
Perfect.
For those of you on Nautilus Live, if you go to the quad view, bottom left, you can actually see the view that is allowing the scientists to make that call on the flow rate. You can actually see in bubble cam view of Hercules a zoom in of a, I guess for want of a better word, a little whirligig that shows the direction and rate of the flow in the super sampler, the suspended particle rosette. So Amy, I don't know if you've got a little list in your pocket there of candidate vent names. I don't know if you want to add, or if it's already on there, Chim Chim Chiru to that.
Hey Alex, we do one more step. Same, yep.
That's a good one.
That was from Nautilus Live. I can't claim credit for that one.
Could we push in on Argus a little bit, please? That's great, thank you.
That looks cool. Neat.
So Nicole, you must be a happy watch leader. You've not had to say anything yet.
Oh, I'm doing a lot of chatting here with the navigator.
Okay.
But yes, I'm always happy to chat with you guys. We're trying to just get the shore team set up with some targets for potential Norbit mapping at the end of this bit.
Great.
You can see what 6% lateral's doing for you. Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
I think it's just for the auto heading.
So I mentioned earlier that we were at the Seacliff hydrothermal vent site.
We'll skip that one. I think it's like on top of the other one, so can't map one without mapping the other.
Let me just give you a quick sense of where that is on planet Earth. So the Seacliff hydrothermal vents are part of the Gorda Ridge marine trench that is formed by the boundary of the Gorda and Pacific tectonic plates. It's that spreading action, these two plates are moving apart, that gives rise to a lot of the hydrothermal phenomena we're observing here. In terms of where we are in the eastern Pacific Ocean, the Nautilus is currently 2,700 meters above all of this action on the surface of the ocean, and itself is 180 kilometers off the west coast of North America, just off the coast of Northern California.
What?
That Argus shot is awesome. Love that. So cool. With all the vents off to the left. And
Yeah.
it's pretty neat. Woo! Some bigger swell coming up last night. We're getting a little more activity on Argus. Sure. Yeah, if you want to frame it up a little different, go for it.
For those of you wanting to check out that view of Argus's view of Hercules, just check Nautilus Live Channel 2 or the quad view, top right. A great context shot that shows Hercules operating on the seafloor in the middle of what is quite a rich vent field.
I think I'm going to hold on a second. I want to turn off the porch light maybe.
Yeah.
Are you just setting some mood lighting, Josh?
Yeah, let's just set it all up. Could even try. Let's see what it looks like with all these guys on.
Temperature just went up to 69.
I think I like that better.
It's just the front that's really bright.
Temperature's up to 71, 73.
That's okay.
All
That's
right.
okay for a filter.
Now it's 46. Got 5 minutes left.
So another vent name for you, Amy, Chimney Cricket.
Oh, that's a good one.
Jiminy Cricket.
I love that one.
Chimichanga.
Oh,
It's endless. Ooh.
so for those of you following on Nautilus Live, we're at the early stages of our final dive of the subsea expedition. We'll be operating on the sea floor today through to about 5:30 Pacific time this afternoon. And then we will bring the ROVs back up through the water column, hopefully to have them back on deck at 8 o'clock this evening Pacific time. At that point, unfortunately, we'll have to start packing up, and we will begin our transit back to San Francisco. There'll be a couple of days hiatus on Nautilus Live as we demobilize one expedition and start another one, but I think early next week the Nautilus will set sail again, heading to Hawaii on a mapping leg. And though that's not a though there's a different mode of operation on the mapping cruises, there's not as many public events, there will be some opportunities to listen to Nautilus Live and have a few Q&A sessions. So keep following the Nautilus Live website and our Twitter site at EVNautilus for updates on those opportunities. And then to see where the Nautilus is going to be going later in the summer, on Nautilus Live, if you click on the expedition, you'll have a great Pacific view map of our sphere of operations for this 2019 cruise season, heading all the way to American Samoa and back. So plenty of opportunities to stick with Nautilus Live.
We have 2 more minutes on this filter.
Can we change the iris a bit on Argus? It's like a little dark. Well, thanks.
Amy, what was sample 104?
Was that today?
Ooh, yeah. Sorry, must be a different convention. Oh.
We had 2 IGTs.
Right.
That was probably 103, 104.
Got it. I see. I see. I do have that.
Okay.
So right now we're on the super filter.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm stopping. Nicole, I got 0.3 liters per minute for the flow rate. Yes, 4.47 liters.
Awesome, thank you.
I'm going to move to port 10. And starting flow now.
So is this another filter, Amy?
Yes.
So what's the advantage in taking, say, 2 or 3 consecutive filters rather than pumping over one for a longer time?
Well, we're using them for different purposes. So one we will use for DNA extraction. One we're going to use for RNA extraction. And then another one for metabolites.
That's cool, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
How long will we be filtering this time?
Probably another 15 minutes. It looks like the flow rate's pretty steady.
Okay. So I guess that gives me an opportunity to turn to our video engineer, Sarah. And
Hello.
do you want to talk a little bit about your Instagram takeover you're doing today?
The video engineering intern, Jess, and I are doing an Instagram takeover today for Nautilus at Nautilus Live.
Cool.
And
have you been busy so far?
We just posted the first intro bits, and we'll be following up later when we're both off watch. But
so you're trying to tell the visual story of a day in the life of a video engineer on board a research ship?
There is, I mean, it's all behind the scenes.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
It's actually more about all the different roles that women are taking place in. Sorry, English. That it's about the women on board Nautilus and different engineering roles.
Cool.
And so it's behind the scenes for a lot of the different, well, all the different areas, things that people are doing on board. As part of the subsea mission.
So have you got a busy day planned?
I mean, we've actually collected a lot of the stuff so far.
Oh, I see.
During when people, like when the ROVs are returning to the boat, and the scientists all come out and collect their samples and are working through the night to process them. So we've got bits from that and bits from people on watch, and it's kind of a compilation, just because everybody's on such different shifts and schedules depending on whatever's going on. But it's gonna be good.
Right, Amy, 3 filters and 2 bags?
Yes.
Yes.
Temperature's still looking really good.
So another great question on Nautilus Live, do we also find hydrothermal vents in freshwater? I don't know if any of our team feels like answering that question. I mean, I'm thinking of places like Yellowstone or other places where you have, I guess, what we would call terrestrial hot springs.
Right.
So on the surface, I don't know if there are any examples of submerged freshwater hydrothermal vent systems.
I want to say in Yellowstone Lake, there might be.
Yeah, definitely.
There is.
Yeah.
Or are you thinking of also? Well, I guess there's massive hot water flows at places like Prismatic Spring in Yellowstone. Sorry, Great Prismatic Lake. Sorry.
And in Central America, there are hot springs.
Yep.
Which are seeps of warm water, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I visited some before in Chile and Bolivia, but what I was trying to conjure in my mind is a picture of other actually submerged freshwater hydrothermal vents. I'm not sure. Probably at Yellowstone they exist, but I don't know if scientists have actually tried to operate drones in those waters.
Yes, they have.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Would you say all hot springs are submerged hydrothermal vents?
Well, the water is coming from underground in contact with hot rocks, but the actual vent, in inverted commas, is at the surface, you know, where you have kind of the bubbling pools and sometimes the really cool mineral formations. So I guess to answer the question, yes, there are, but not exact analogues of the kinds of systems we're seeing here.
Maybe without the minerals, there would just be seeps, technically?
Not sure, perhaps. It's not an area I'm any kind of expert in. I guess that hasn't stopped me over the last 10 days from...
I would imagine there's some in Iceland.
Oh, yeah, certainly. So for those of you who are enjoying this zoomed in view of Hercules, sampling the vent fluid from this Apollo region of the Seacliff hydrothermal vent site, don't forget to also check over on channel 2 on Nautilus Live for, you've got some great Argus views of Hercules right now. So you must have had a busy evening, Amy. Are you saving sleep for back on shore?
Yeah, I guess so. I tried to sleep for a couple of hours. I thought it was a couple of hours, but I don't think I slept the whole time.
So were you basically back in action at midnight and then working through the night?
Yes. I didn't stop. I don't think. I worked all the way till 4:30.
Uh-huh.
And then I laid down around 5, I think. And Darlene woke me up at 7:15.
Yep. So for those of you asking on Nautilus Live, these hydrothermal vents, the water coming out is still saline. The root of this hydrothermal activity is seawater that percolates through the Earth's crust and comes into contact with hot rocks or sometimes even a magma chamber under the Earth's crust where we're operating. It then becomes heated, it gets positively buoyant with respect to the ambient seawater and then rises up through the rock, coming out in these either sites of what we call focused flows at chimneys or diffuse flows over larger areas. The chemistry of the water coming out is certainly different to ambient seawater. It contains many more dissolved minerals as a result of those water-rock interactions. What makes these sites quite interesting is that the vents as you can see in front of you, they run clear. This is in contrast to other vents you might have heard of, such as black smoke or white smoke events, that are in effect supersaturated columns of mineral-rich water, and when that mineral-rich water hits the cold ambient seawater, those minerals precipitate out of solution and form these great clouds of particulate matter.
Got about 4 more minutes on this one.
Roger.
How's the temp been for this, Amy?
Great. Every once in a while it'll bounce down to like 11, but it goes all the way up to 67, but mostly it's between 30s and 40s. It's pretty steady.
For those of you on Nautilus Live just asking what some of the highlights of this expedition have been for us, certainly spending some really quality time at these hydrothermal vents has been great. But if you have the opportunity, I guess what dive are we on now? 1756. So I'm thinking it must be 1754 perhaps, that we were able to conduct a visual geological survey with Hercules, traveling directly across the plate boundary between the Pacific and the Gorda plates, and we saw some evidence of some amazing geological activity, rifts, lava lakes, big walls of pillow lava. And so a lot of these dives are available on YouTube now, and so you can actually go and scroll back through them and find some of these highlights. As I said, I think it was 1754 might have been the dive when we had a wonderful evening's geology stroll across the seafloor.
I think you're right.
Yeah, they tend to blend into one another.
Yes, that's why I was like, I'm not sure if I took a nap yesterday or not. Maybe that was the day before.
It's also doubly confusing for those who have to work in the data management or video tagging or science management, that all of our samples are tagged in universal time, and so you're trying to work out exactly what day were they taken on. Should I add 7, subtract 7?
Luckily, we leave all of our clocks in the van at UTC.
Yep. Except for the science communication computer, I think it's on something strange in between Pacific and UTC. It might even be maybe it's on Newfoundland time or something like that.
Oh, that's the worst.
Isn't that half an hour difference in addition to?
That's right.
3 hours from here?
That's right.
Yeah, about 4.5 actually.
4.5. Oh.
Isn't it 4.5 or is it, yeah, 4.5, 3.5, 4.5. Can't remember. Maybe it's 3.5.
Oh.
Another great comment on Nautilus Live is the observation from this video that we're taking, that you guys can watch at the same time we watch it, observing that there really is, at least to the eye, not such an abundant array of life that we've seen at some of the other vents. And that's certainly true, at least in terms of that which we can see with our eyes, and really that's something we're trying to answer by taking some of these vent fluid samples, trying to characterize their microbial inhabitants and working out what the ecology of these locations are. They certainly vary a lot from place to place, and so understanding that distribution of species across this site is a big goal of this expedition.
Okay, stopping this filter.
Roger.
Nice cusk eel visiting Argus right now.
Up close.
Far.
Far away. Here it comes.
Nicole, are you ready for data?
Ready.
The flow rate was 0.28 liters per minute.
0.28?
Yes.
Okay.
And the volume was 4.19 liters.
4.19. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving to port 11. Temp stable at 63. Starting filter now.
Hey, Amy.
Yes.
So are you going to fill all 3 bags here?
It's up to you. We've earned ourselves an extra 10 minutes. Sarah is very excited about doing more experiments every day.
Okay, then let's fill all of them.
Okay.
So we're now joined by on Nautilus Live, by some grade 3 students from British Columbia and Canada. If you guys are able to tell us the name of your school, we'll give you a shout out. But to answer your question, Hercules can operate to a maximum depth of 4,000 meters. We're currently operating well within that limit. We're at approximately 2,700 meters. And we in the Nautilus, from where you can hear most of these voices talking to you from, we're floating above all that action. And we're operating about 180 kilometers off the coast of North America. And I'm not sure of the exact distance, but we're just a little bit further south from Vancouver, from British Columbia, where you guys are. Just trace a line down the coast. If you have a map in your classroom to where Oregon meets California, and then see if you can trace out about 180 kilometers, and then you'll find where we are on the eastern Pacific Ocean at the moment. We are continuing to sample vent fluid from this chimlet that's part of the Apollo vent site within the wider Seacliff hydrothermal vent field. All of this geological and hydrothermal activity you're seeing in front of you is caused by the pulling apart of the Pacific and Gorda tectonic plates. This blue wand you can see in front of you that's being held by Hercules' manipulator arm is directed over the output from this tiny little area of vent flow, and we are pumping that water through the tube you can see to the back of Hercules, where it's passing through a filter about 0.2 microns in filter size, and we're doing that to capture any bacteria that are entrained in those vent fluids, and then the scientists aboard will try and determine what kinds of bacteria they are, how they are producing the energy they use to live. So thanks for keeping your questions coming on Nautilus Live. And just to follow up on the question from British Columbia, that's coming from a group of homeschoolers with Ascend Online. That 4,000 meter limit of Hercules is determined by a number of factors, such as the what we call the syntactic foam, the foam floats that you can see as the big yellow block on Hercules if you look at the Argus view on channel 2 of Nautilus Live. Also, some of the core electronics, the brain, if you like, of Hercules is contained within a titanium pressure cylinder that has a similar depth rating. The cable that we feed down to Argus and then to Hercules. That's actually 4,500 meters long, 4.5 kilometers.
Amy, how's your temperature reading out now? Amy, how's your temperature reading out right now?
It's wonderful. It's still, every once in a while it goes down to 10-ish.
Okay.
But it's still good.
Okay.
Did the wand move?
It's just moving. It's like slowly creeping and then coming back. So I'm just wondering what the temperature was.
Right now it's in the high teens.
Okay. As long as whatever you're getting is good with you, then I'm happy.
Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of dropping off. It's consistently around 10. Now it's at 23. Yeah, it's definitely lower though. Yeah, I know.
Looks like
it's
looks like it started to come back closer towards the orifice again.
Yeah.
It's starting to go a little bit to the right, but now it's kind of drifted itself back. I think.
Yeah, it's still only like 16 for the high.
Roger.
I'm sorry, Amy. What was that?
And then can you move it just a hair back to the left or
sure,
wherever it came from?
So there's a drop in temp, Amy?
Yeah. It's back to 37 now.
Sorry.
That's good. 33. 41, 54. Okay, that's good.
Okay, I'm frozen here.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Starting again. Okay.
Let me know if the temperature drops again though.
Okay.
So for those budding ROV engineers out there on Nautilus Live who've been asking me how we plan to upgrade Hercules in the future, probably the biggest development that Nautilus Live has been working on in the ROV department is a system called Little Herc, which is a mobile ROV that is not partnered with the Nautilus especially, but that we can send out to operate on other ships as opportunity arises. And that's a system that can actually work down to 6,000 meters now. And so over, hopefully, even the, I don't know, maybe I could ask Nicole, is Little Herc going to make its kind of public debut through the 2020 season?
I'm sorry, could you ask one more time?
I was just asking Nicole, I know that the Ocean Exploration Trust and Nautilus have been developing Little Herc.
Right.
When's it going to make its kind of public debut and start to appear on some Nautilus Live broadcasts?
Next year. We're still doing system tests with it this year, so we anticipate maybe February or March next year. It'll actually be on another vessel operated by the the trust, an expedition operated by the trust. So hopefully we'll have some telepresence on that cruise and the ability to share what we're doing out there. And then we'll be able to use it from Nautilus. I'm not sure if we'll have any particular projects next season that will require its use on Nautilus. But we'll keep everybody informed.
That's cool, thank you.
So I'm now consistently getting in the 70s and 80s.
Okay. So we know if it gets too hot for you too.
Okay. It takes a minute for the temperature. It's now in the 50s, 30s, 20s, 50s.
Lots of wafting around there. Lots of current.
60, 70. '84. '39. Okay, we'll just keep it here. It's got 4 more minutes.
Yeah, sounds good.
So just to follow up on another great question on Nautilus Live, these fluctuating temperatures that the scientists are noting, we interpret really what's going on is that we assume the vent fluid is coming out at a pretty stable temperature, but the fluctuations are as there's varying amounts of mixing occurring with the ambient seawater that cools that vent flow. There's a lot of turbulent mixing and small currents going on, so even though the wand is kept in a constant position above the vent, it receives different mixes of vent fluid and seawater. You can really see that as that shimmering column is wafting around like a trail of smoke on a day with a light breeze. I think the highest temperature we've measured at this vent today, Amy was just reading out some temperatures, was around 80 or 90 degrees Celsius.
Amy, it looks like it went a little bit from the orifice again.
Oh, okay.
So you...
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost done too.
Might need to give it a little more vertical down, a little bit more forward. Stabilize it somewhere.
Okay.
So what's next, Amy?
We're going to take a series of 3 bags, so filling up these wine bags that we have with fluid. And then we'll bring them back up to the surface and run our experiments on them. We're interested in what organisms are most active in this vent, and then we will also try to culture some microbes from the fluids.
Are we also going to be filling the bottles at this site too?
I'm not sure.
I think we're supposed to take the tubes here. Oh, no?
Okay. No, we're going to go back to the high temperature chimney just to our left where we started this morning.
All right, Amy.
Where the IGTs were fired for the tube.
Okay, I'm stopping.
Roger. And then before we do the bags, I might just make sure I get myself a little more stable. It seems like I'm pitching around a little bit.
Okay, that sounds good. I think I'm done with that wand, so.
Roger.
Do we have to switch wands for the bags, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Come wide. Video, come wide, please.
Nicole, are you ready for the?
Ready.
I have 0.32 liters per minute.
Okay, 0.32.
And 4.79 liters.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And so, Alex, if you could just append the all those sample IDs to that target. I think maybe you have. You have. Thank you. Amy, for this, are you starting on the Super 12?
Yes.
Are
Okay.
you able to show me towards the tip a little bit? Just want to make sure that I don't scrape it on the bumper. Or if I do. Sorry.
Yeah, you just got to pitch up a whole bunch.
Yeah. Just land it here for now.
You can always put it down there too and re-grab if it's easier. If it's a little awkward trying to get it all right back to the square.
That's what I'm going to do, is just get it down here first.
So for those of you on Nautilus Live, just curious as to whether it's hazardous or not for the ROV to physically touch down on the sea floor. Well, of course, you've got to remember is that when it's out of the water, in air and on deck of the Nautilus, Hercules weighs, I think, about 6,000 pounds. So it has a very strong frame and a very robust base. And so as long as you're careful as to where you put down the ROV, it's pretty robust.